how do you met Dex?
Dexter, I met him 2 weeks ago. I didn't even, I went to this store, and because I have a drone I brought with me when I moved to California, and I went to this store to drop off the drone. It's been broken, and I've been investing a lot in my equipment, in my cameras and my audio stuff, so the next step was to get my drone fixed. So while I was there, I walked in, and this kid was sitting in front of me, standing in front of me in line, and I asked him, he had the same drone as me, and I asked him, hey, what's wrong with yours, you know? And he's like, well, you know, I lose the signal, you know, what's wrong with yours? I was like, one of my motors doesn't work. And we started talking, and he asked me, you know, where I'm from. Tell him I'm from Boston. You know, I moved out here 7 months ago. He's like, that's crazy, I'm from Chicago. I moved here 7 months ago. He asked me what I do. I'm telling my model, I act. I work with people with social media, creating videos and content and stuff. And he's like, man, like, I do the same thing, and we even work like a same side hustle. It's called Postmates. It's a delivery app. So he was 19 years old, and he asked me, he's like, hey, when you're done here, I wanna talk to you outside. And so I finished up. I dropped off the drone, and when I was leaving, he was waiting for me, and he's like, hey man, I'm Famous Dex's little brother. I'm about to go shoot a music video for him. Do you want to come with me? And I had just like landed an audition for a TV show, so I was actually gonna go to the audition for a TV show, but when he offered me the opportunity, I really had to like evaluate, like, okay, can I reschedule the you know, this thing happening with Famous Dex, or can I reschedule the audition? So I ended up rescheduling the audition. I go with this kid, his name is D, and we go to the mall. We go shoot a little vlog with Famous Dex at the mall. And at first I met him, and he was kind of standoffish because he didn't know me, and you know, his little brother just met me too. But he starts seeing that I'm like running, you know, to get the right angles. I'm like running around the stores to get, you know, the nice shots. I'm running up the stairs, so when he's going up the escalator, I get him like catching. So he ends up inviting me to his house to come talk some more, tell him a little bit more of my story. And when he finds out that I was actually living out of my car, he tells me, hey, look, there's a king size bed in that room, and there's 2 bunk beds in that room. Either one of those, that's your room now. Like, you're gonna come live with me, bro. I don't care like what it takes. Like, I want to help you out, man. So not only do I get to work with Famous Dex, I actually get to live with him now too.
Oh, super. That's great. What happened to Woocutz?
So Woocutz started back in 2014, August 1st of 2014. I was working sales for AT&T, and I really started being on top of my professional appearance was one of my number one things. You know, my brother's a barber, and he was my favorite barber, but he lived in Jersey City. So being a sales professional and stuff, I always had to make sure that I was on top of my appearance. And I started to see that there was an opportunity in the technology space, in marketing space, to be able to create a brand that was going to have a hand-selected network of barbers, stylists, and professionals in that industry. So initially I started to create an app. I didn't know how much an app was going to be, and then when I started doing more of my research into it, I learned that it was going to take a lot more money. So I started doing shows, one called the Mass Barbers Convention, and then the Mass Beauty and Barbers Convention, and then the last one was the New England Beauty and Barber Expo. So I kept thinking that I could create these events, make money off of them, and then use that money to invest into Woocutz. At the same time, when I started Woocutz TV. Woocutz TV is the media side of Woocutz, and that's what we've been focusing on more on our Instagram, which is doing interviews on, you know, things in the industry, bringing the news to the beauty and barber industry. But as of 2017, right before the New England Beauty Expo, my cousin in Puerto Rico actually ended up committing suicide. So I went out to Puerto Rico, I spent time with my family, and every time I tried to fly back from Puerto Rico, the flights were full, something would happen to the plane, whatever the case may be. And I asked God, I'm like, God, like, you're not letting me leave, like, why? I get a DM on Woocutz, and these barbers reached out to me, and they were doing events throughout the community, in like the most affected communities in Puerto Rico, and they just needed some video, some marketing tips, some social media help. So I started just coming along and volunteering every Sunday at all of their events. And it was just, I feel like God just really putting the picture together of what Woocutz was going to evolve into, right? So we're working on the mobile app. The mobile app will fund community-centered events like what we're doing in Puerto Rico, but we're going to do it at a global scale. And the content side, it will still be created so that we can tell the story of barbers, stylists, and bring that industry, the news about that industry. But it's 3 pillars: technology, media, and events.
Thank you so much. May I ask you a question about the fact why did you left Worcester for California? That's right. You left Worcester for California. Were you born in Worcester?
Yeah, I was born in Worcester. I lived in Miami for about 8 years of my life. I moved around a lot. So between kindergarten and 12th grade, I went to 29 different schools. When I got out of the Marine, I was stationed in the Marine Corps out in California. And I always had that like drive, that I like that ambition, I guess, to go back there. I just didn't. At 22 years old, I got lost in the sauce out there in the bright lights and the parties and stuff like that. But when I came back to Worcester, I recreated myself as Ambitious Angelo, and I knew that I was gonna try everything that I had to see which thing would stick. Modeling was one of the things that stuck for me, and I know that Boston and New England area, the market is very limited out here. But that was one of the things that were really growing for me. So I knew that if I wanted to take everything that I was doing, social media, Woocutz, modeling, speaking, all that to the next level, I had to take it to a bigger market. So that's when I decided to move to Los Angeles. I got on a one-way ticket. I didn't really know where I was gonna go, where I was gonna stay, what my plan was. But I knew that if I didn't jump now, I was turning 30 years old, I would never know if I could swim in the deep end of the pool with the sharks. When I got out the Marine Corps, and I was getting divorced and I really hit rock bottom, I had to decide, am I gonna stay at rock bottom or am I gonna climb myself back up? And at that moment is when I created myself as Ambitious Angelo. And Ambitious Angelo has no limits. Like, seriously, sometimes I struggle with that. I'm not like, oh no, I'm not a videographer. Oh no, I'm not this, I'm not that. And I have to constantly remind myself, if I don't try something, I'm never gonna figure out if I'm good at it or if it's in my lane or if it fits with what I'm doing. So nowadays, like, I host events. I'm an inspirational speaker. I'm a director in doing videography. I run Ambitious Advertising. It's a social media digital marketing agency. I have Woocutz and running that. I model as well. Now I'm acting. I just got booked for a TV show that we're filming the pilot in a couple weeks, and life has brought me opportunities where I just say yes and I figure it out later. The first time I ever bartended while I was in LA was for the Netflix Golden Globes party. Like, I'd never bartended in my life before, but I keep trying things out. I just say yes to things and I see where it takes me next. Of course, I have my ambitions and I have my vision and my goals that I want to achieve, but I never want to be limited to one thing. That's what keeps me to my name, like Ambitious Angelo.
What's next?
Honestly, my life is so spontaneous. It's so incredible. I never, like 2 weeks ago, I didn't know that I'd be, working on music videos now, directing them, living with famous Dex. We just called him to say hi to the kids while we're in Sullivan Middle School. He just called me and said, hey, come down to New York. I want you to fly back first class with me to LA tomorrow, So my life it's an adventure and you never know where it's going to be next. I know I have my goals. My main focus right now is to do everything that I can to pour into Woocutz, to make the mobile app happen, so that I can leave everything else and just focus on that for the next 5-10 years of my life, when I can actually do this. Because it's not just about the mobile app, it's about giving back to the communities. We're in the business of people, and I want to be able to create an impact, not just in Worcester, not just in Los Angeles, but across the world. And haircuts is a universal thing. Everyone across the world, male, female, needs their hair done at some point, from young to old. So we want to be able to create an impact across so many lives. And I want to continue sharing my story. That's why I'm here today with you, doing this interview. That's why we were today at Sullivan Middle School speaking to the kids. Yesterday I was at a church sharing with them, guys. So my aim is to create a positive impact everywhere I go. If that's going to Starbucks, if that's at the library, if that's in traffic, if that's wherever it is, I want to create a positive impact.
Would you recommend what you did or what you are doing to a young man of your age or a young woman too, do you think it's worthy?
I'm not gonna lie, I won't recommend it to everyone. I will recommend it to some, but I'm not gonna tell everybody, hey, pack up your stuff, go on a one-way ticket to go, after your dreams. It takes a lot of courage, and I will kid you not. It's a 6-hour flight from Los Angeles, to Los Angeles, and for the first 3 hours of that trip, I was crying. I was thinking about everything that I was leaving behind. I've gone through some real incredible hardships. I've been homeless. I've been sleeping in my car. I've slept in hospital beds. I've slept in random people's couches, like whatever it takes. So I'm not going to tell everybody to follow my path, but I will say follow your dreams. Start somewhere. Start small. I started modeling, just doing photo shoots at the Worcester Common, right there behind City Hall, asking my friends, hey, come take some pictures, let me use some of your clothes, things like that. So start small, but slow progress is better than no progress. But there's going to be a point in your life where you have to jump off the ledge. You have to believe and take a leap and be able to do it. I'm not sure what your dream is. I'm not sure where it is, where you want to go. One, I want to tell you to dream a little bit bigger, because every time that I aim high, I'm as crazy as it sounds, I'm able to accomplish it with a matter of time. So aim a little bit higher than what you're thinking. And two, put in the work. Like, trust me, start small and you'll be able to accomplish big things. But you can't cheat the grind. There's no shortcuts to this thing in success. Like, the game's gonna give you what you put in. So use your time wisely. That's the biggest resource that we all have. We all have 24 hours. If you use it wisely, you look at it as money. Either you're wasting it on things that you shouldn't be, you're just getting entertained, you're spending it with the wrong people, you're not getting the right information and learning, or you're investing it. You're reading the books, you're trying things out, you're failing, but you're learning from your failures, you're putting yourself out there, you're going to networking events, whatever the case may be. Use your time wisely. And then, hey, at one point or another, you're going to have to take that leap. And trust me, like, God is going to meet you on the other side of it. It's not as that I'm incredible or I'm courageous. I have 100% faith that wherever I go, God is going to be with me. And He gave me these gifts and these talents. And I know when I jump off the ledge, God was going to catch me and God was going to show me that I can fly.
All right. How do we contact you?
Me on Instagram, it's ambitious_Angelo. Also Woocutz, WOOCUTZ. I'm also on Facebook, Angelo Padine or Ambitious Angelo, either one of those, or Woocutz as well. I'm also on YouTube. So any of these social media forms, guys, like, send me a message, whatever the case may be. Like, I get a lot of messages, especially since I started working with Famous Dex, but I will get back to you guys. I will read your messages, and if I can help you be a bridge to make your dreams come true, trust me, like, that's what I love. That's what I'm working so hard for, so that other people don't have to go through the sacrifices and the hardships that I have. I want to be able to help other people as well. So please reach out.